Today, I'm going to discuss the team, the human resources, my compatriots, and I'm going to talk about how I set them up into my company, WPF Holdings. First and foremost, I started with my co-founder, Yusuf, who you'll hear a lot about on this journey. I just finished a meeting with him about 5 minutes ago. He was the core with me because he's the yin to my yang. I am big picture, I'm sales, I'm communication, I'm deal making, where he is the detail, something I can't live without because detail is my shortcoming. I suck at the detail. If you ever want a perfectly put together strategy document, that's not me. But if you want a good strategy, that's me. I give that strategy to Yusuf. He formalizes the documents. He pays all the bills. He takes care of all the money while I progress the company and lead from the front in terms of sales strategy and deals. He was the core. Me and him were the core. We were doing everything at that point in time. And then we started with the staff we could afford. This is not a slight at our first founding staff members, but the reality was they weren't bringing something to the picture from their previous experience. They were bringing in things we taught them as we progressed, but we didn't know it all. We had no understanding of what we needed because we were building based off the knowledge that we had, yet we were entering an industry that we didn't fully grasp. So you start with the staff you have that you can afford, and that's how we started. And then in our company, we started bringing on businesses. There were a few key more staff, Michael in terms of our finance, Emil in terms of marketing, but they were the core and we needed to then bring on businesses because we couldn't recruit everything we needed. Did we have the cash to buy out businesses? Absolutely not. But what we did have was a vision for the future. We had a business model that we thought would be extremely successful, and we had established relationships with partners that we kept referring to. So our first big move was with a group called LW Phoenix, which was a real estate company. Real estate being something I knew nothing about. I am so grateful to the growing number of people watching our channel. It is so heartening to see you guys on Insta, on YouTube, really following what it is we're doing, being part of our journey to listing. And that's what this channel is about. But if I may ask that you subscribe, turn on your notifications so you can share that journey, not miss the steps, not see our failures and successes at every stage so you can learn from them, because I promise you the mistakes we make will prevent you from making the same ones or give you direct insight into what it takes. Subscribe today. Genuinely appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. What did we do with them? We acquired their arm, their real estate company, to do the real estate sales and convert our clients from the zero deposit finance system to being real estate clients. Because you need from our finance system a sale in the property arm, which we weren't qualified to do. The way we purchased them, though, was with our vision. Their company valuation was 3 to 4. Our company valuation was 12 million. So we actually acquired their company with, I think, 50K and a percentage of shares. And their shareholders in that company became our shareholders, but as a minority stake. But what did we bring in? We brought in founders. We brought in salespeople, we brought in infrastructure, and we brought in knowledge that we didn't have. We then continued to apply the exact same logic in all the different industries we're in, all the way from construction to mortgage broking and lending, but also in terms of getting partnerships and small minority stakes in law practices and land development companies, as well as tech. We couldn't purchase these things. We couldn't acquire these staff on our balance sheet, on our cash. We made deals. And those deals brought a wealth of knowledge into our organization that I otherwise would not have been able to pay for. Then comes the natural progression when you bring all these things into a melting pot, getting the culture to work together, but then also taking the riffraff out of each of the organizations to get to the core key staff with the demand of excellence. What that means is you set the bar of excellence, and for anyone who doesn't meet that bar, unfortunately, it's time to part ways. And then as the company grows, you start hiring people that are going to bring extra levels of knowledge into the organization. And one of those key hires in our company was a guy called Phil Leahy. Phil, who's our CEO, was working in Brookfield Multiplex. He worked a stint in Creation Homes. He worked a stint in Stocklands. He worked a stint in many big organizations around the construction and property sector. But he is not a talent we could have afforded. He had to believe in the vision of the organization and believe he could create a great impact to the organization. He was brought on as a CEO to professionalize our group, bring structure, bring integrity, bring branding, fix the front door of our organization so we could be investor ready. And when he did that, he helped bring the investors in with me. He brought something that I had no experience in. I'm great at leading, for sales, for charging, for deals. But when you do those deals, those people who come into the organization want to see a solid base of infrastructure, of processes, of reporting. Everything was brought in. And governance, establishing the board, all those things I couldn't quite do. But it wasn't because we could afford what he was worth. He invested in the group with both his money and his time. He is working as hard as I am working, as hard as Yusuf, Emil, Michael, Alvin, all the key founding directors and investors in the group are working, all of us, with a clear goal to list this company in the next 2 years. My HR strategy: hire for your deficiencies, partner with skill sets that you can't bring, and bring all that knowledge into the middle, built around the culture that you want to define. Your team is so critical. And respectfully, the Seek, the Indeeds, Joras, all these guys, no matter what you're getting in, they're never going to compare to bringing in established businesses with established infrastructure who do well and taking out the riffraff to bring them to your level of excellence. That was my strategy, and that was necessary because of the many verticals in our business. Hope this helps. I know this is not common for everyone. It's just how we did it. Take care. Please subscribe, follow, like for more content, guys. I hope you're loving this content. Join us in our journey to list within the next 24 months. Top of this page, you'll see the link to the next episode. Subscribe to watch more and press the next link.